Easter weekend. Just out at the cottage. Lake is still frozen, but it's warm today, so not for much longer. Spring is here. Still too early to put the dock in, of course. In fact, the wind coming off the lake right now is warm. It's kind of weird. Warm breeze in the face. We were just noting that this weekend 4 years ago, we came to dig the cars out for the mother and father-in-law, and we still had snow up to the hoods. So this year, we're kind of normal. There's patches of snow here and there, but definitely isn't 3.5, 4 feet. Very windy out here today. So no deer in the field, no moose back at the lake. No matter how much I yearn for spring and all of these things to come back, it's still early. Spring is a very difficult time to find subjects. Everything is brown and dead, all the leaves behind me, nothing's growing yet. But if you look right there, there is a couple little red leaves. So I did take the 70-200 macro and I did get a shot of that. This time of year you gotta look for things like fungus and moss and little red leaves. Just checking the edge of this field. Last year, this time of year, I saw the woodcock was here. And they're kind of a rare bird for these parts. They've got a long beak, little fat round body. And they should be here in the same place. And this is mating season for them. So I'm just gonna wander the edge of this field here and see if I can find one. But I've only ever seen like 4 of these in my life up here, so the chances are pretty slim. I did hear the pileated woodpecker calling just in front of us. I was saying I also heard the pileated woodpecker calling. Well, I found where he's working. Look at, must be right full of grubs and worms. He's working that one over pretty good. Hey, look at that. Some kind of prehistoric dinosaur stump. I'm always looking for faces, and I used to take the kids out when they were small, 3-4 years old. We'd go down the trails and we would find things that looked like monsters, and we would take pictures of them, and then I would fix them in Photoshop and then show them. That just reminded me of that. I'm gonna take a picture of that guy. He has an eye, some horns sticking up on the top there. I'll show you. All you need is a little imagination. I did spot a fungus. Oh, partridge, which I did not spot. But I saw on that tree over there, there's a fungus. Looks pretty wet. Sometimes they have nice orange on them. This one does not. It is only white. The secret to good photography is just looking and letting your imagination run. And if you see something like, you know, the fungus over there, actually going and checking it out. Is it a great shot? No. But we found a partridge by coming down here. Did I get a picture of it? No. But that's how you find things. You just, you know, that will lead to something else, will lead to something else. And the next thing you know, you're way over there in the swamp and you've got a dozen good photos. And wet feet. You have to try to keep your childlike sense of wonder alive. Let the small things catch your interest. Because not every day are you going to find that wildlife. I think it's way too early for frogs, but you never know. I'm taking a look. The 12-year-old me would have stopped and looked. This looks like a spot where you might find a pine marten in amongst these spruce here. I've also seen kingfishers right in this little bay as well, but it's way too early, I think, for those guys. Some places you just feel it. There is wildlife here, and I will often just stop, lean against a tree, and stand for 20 minutes. Because as you walk through, things are going to hide. They're not going to move. But if you just make yourself quiet and still, quite often you'll see something, you know, maybe a fisher or something will come out and run across here. Could be anything. You just have to be quiet and patient. You guys ask Gerald. He knows when I say we need to give it 10 more minutes, I've got a feeling. I'm usually right. Also, I'm always looking at the ground. It seems odd to me that this little bay, this little swamp, I know it's wet. So that's why I always thought there's no cottage here, because this lake has a cottage on it. Every 100 yards there's a cottage, but there's this one little bay here that doesn't. And I looked down and I just saw a glass jar right here. I'm going to guess 1960s Cheese Whiz. Yep. I think that's what that is. So now, is there any more glass or old cans or anything here? And maybe we need to come back and swing the detector in this little swamp. So there is a bit of an old driveway right here, coming off that empty lot. So I bet you there is more cans and bottles around. I haven't seen any, but there's got to be a bottle dump or something. That's what they all did back in the day, right? Throw it out. Out of sight, out of mind. Okay, so actually here's something. Maybe the sole to an old shoe or boot. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. Okay. Oh, and right here's a bottle. Not a real old one, that's a stubby. 60s, 70s. Okay, but there is signs of human habituation here. And as you guys know, 1960s is not really what we're looking for. But this old road that I'm on could have been put in 100 years before that, right? And the guys that were down here, maybe they had a little log cabin or something that's long gone. Maybe they put it on the site of their grandparents' cottage lot, you know, something like that. So you never know till you get the detectors into a spot like this and start detecting. And right here at the lake, I noticed behind me there's a set of logs right there, and they're running one direction right there. And over here, running 90 degrees to that, is another old log. And I thought, well, it's a long shot that would be the remains of a cabin. But you know what? I think it is, guys, because I'm going to show you there's something stuck on the end of this log. And look at this. Here's an old piece of tin. Yeah. Definitely, this, I think, was maybe a log cabin back in the day. If you just looked at those two logs sticking out of the ground and you didn't see that tin there, you would never think anything of it. Unless you're me, and then you put 90-degree angles together with those other logs behind me. I look for things like that. If you see a square anywhere, you know, when we go up to my dad's camp and we hit the woods up there, those cabins from the early guys that were harvesting the forest up there, they're like early 1900s, and that's all that's left is a couple logs like that. But you'll see them stacked in 90-degree. Sometimes the full square is still there. You learn to look for that. And because that one has a piece of flashing or tin in it, 100% there was a cabin there. And it makes sense. There's an old driveway or road going right to that opening there. Why there's nothing there in modern times, I don't know. It's strange. Well, up in the maple hardwood now, you can see all these are maple leaves on the ground. I'm sure 100 years ago they would have had all these trees tapped and they would have been making syrup. But the old farmer that lived here, I'm pretty sure it was his grandparents that owned the original property, like 1,000 acres. He was in his 80s 20 years ago when I met him. He's gone, and his nephew, who is quite a bit older than me, now owns the property. But I've never seen them do syrup or anything like that. Well, I just wanted to take you guys on a little walk while I'm waiting for Easter dinner to be made at the cottage. I'm not one to sit around. If I can get out and go for a walk. It was actually raining when we drove out, but it's been nice. I'm glad I went on this little tour. It's all about just getting out to explore. I wouldn't trade where I live for anywhere in the world. It is one of the most beautiful and diverse places. You know, swamps to hardwoods to lakes, rivers, streams, all kinds of the water that we have up here. You know, you can't go 1,000 yards without hitting another lake or a pond or something. So I just wanted to wish you guys a happy Easter weekend. Hopefully spring has found you wherever you are. If it's found me, it's more than likely found you. And I hope you're out enjoying an adventure somewhere. Stay tuned. Lots of stuff going to be coming up on the channel. I've been out with Stan 3 times now, so those adventures are coming. 2 metal detecting and 1 trucking. Good stuff. Good spring stuff. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.